By 2025, about 20% of all cars sold globally will be electric. Sounds like a huge development for the EV industry, doesn't it? But are electric cars just as good for the environment as they are when it comes to finances? How can they improve the global environmental crisis? Are they one of the last shots we have at saving our planet? All this and so much more in today's video. So, without further ado, let's get started. First of all, let's dig deeper into the claim that electric vehicles have zero carbon emissions. Is this really true? While they don't have tailpipes that regular cars running on fuel release carbon dioxide from, the making, assembling, and charging of the electric vehicles do release toxic gases. That being said, according to Sergey Palksev, Deputy Director of MIT Joint Program on Science and Policy of Global Change, we shouldn't claim victory that with this switch to electric cars, problem solved. We're going to have zero emissions, he says. No, that's not the case. But electric cars are actually much better in terms of the impact on the climate in comparison to the internal combustion vehicles. And in this time, the comparative advantage of electric cars is going to grow. And if we are already on the topic of electric vehicles, let's discuss their types and how much carbon emissions are they responsible for. So firstly, let's talk about the most commonly known type, which is BEV. For those who don't know, BEV stands for battery electric vehicles. Running completely on electrical charged batteries, these cars don't need an internal combustion engine. Not only are they the best when it comes to being environmental friendly, but you can easily charge them by using level 1 or level 2 electric vehicle chargers. But how are their sales going? Are they gaining more popularity, or driving electric vehicles will always stay a part of an unachievable futuristic fantasy? Well, you guys might be surprised to know that out of the total global car sales in 2022, easily 16.6% were battery electric vehicles. Now, let's take a look at the comparatively less environmental friendly, yet much better than regular fuel car, HEV. Hybrid electric vehicles are a smart combination of a regular car with internal combustion engine and an electric motor. And does the electric motor charge itself the same way an electric vehicle does, by being plugged into a charging point? Nope. The electric motors used in this kind of vehicle employ a technique called regenerative braking to recharge themselves. Out of the total global car sales, around 6.6% were hybrid electric vehicles. But is this upgrading personal cars from internal combustion engines one to electric ones the solution to the global environmental crisis? According to statistics, around 41% of carbon emissions all over the world are due to public transportation. Whether it's ships, planes, private jets, buses, or trains, all such models of transportation cause a lot more damage than we can imagine. So clearly, only a few people upgrading their vehicles won't help a lot. Instead, proper action regarding public transportation needs to be taken on a national level. But systematic changes like that also leave an irreversible effect on the environment. For example, the preparation of electric vehicles require lithium-ion batteries, and such batteries are completely dependent upon materials like lithium, cobalt, and nickel, etc. There might be environmental friendly ways for mining these materials. However, the use of fossil fuels is the oldest, most effective, and most cost-effective way. But there's a downside to it. After mining the required materials, you are supposed to heat them at a very high temperature, and that's where the toxicity comes from, or should we say, gets released. A regular Tesla Model 3 uses an 80 kWh battery, which means around 2.5 to 16 metric tons of carbon dioxide is released into the environment during its manufacture. This is a rough estimate of the carbon emissions, which can vary depending on what source of energy is being used for the heating process. However, it is enough to create a rough image. After taking a thorough look at the manufacturing process of an electric vehicle, we can surely say that there are 80% of more carbon emissions during EV manufacturing than there are during regular internal combustion engine vehicle manufacturing. Still, it is believed that electric vehicles are the better choice, as the only damage they do to the environment is during their manufacture. After that, it's probably the most cost-effective and environmentally friendly way of transportation. However, if we take a look at the regular cars that run on fuel, a lot of efforts are being made to make them less of a threat towards the climate. According to the reports formulated by MIT, by the year 2050, gasoline cars will be modified to release 225 grams of carbon dioxide per mile, instead of the 350 grams being dropped currently. Sounds awesome, doesn't it? One might think it's making their cause stronger against electric vehicles, but wait until you take a look at the other side. The lowest carbon emissions by gasoline cars are estimated to be 225 grams per mile, but the lowest emissions by EVs are estimated to be 125 Gs per mile. And that's not all, folks. If the price of renewable sources of energy drop, then the emissions are projected to drop even more to a shocking yet extremely impressive 50 grams per mile. That's all for today. Click on one of the two videos on your screen right now.